Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the last episode of this Trailer Park StarTrekTember specials. We have now reached the J J Abrams era. Oh, the last three ones. The most modern three from 2009 to this year, wasn't it? It was when Beyond came out, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, right, so that's, definitely the recent era. Joined again by Kennie and Chris, the usual compatriots.
Hello.
Hello.
And joined again by Art and Mitch.
Hey, how's it going?
And so, to start off with this J J Abrams era, let us begin with Star Trek, aptly named, really. Yeah.
The era of the lens flare.
Star Trek 9. The room was too bright.
Yeah, space just wasn't shiny enough.
Let's get
Or
lens flare.
11, maybe? But I think this is 11. Is that 11?
So, this is the Star Trek that actually got me interested in Star Trek. So this actually did what it was supposed to, which I think that anything that's remade and done well is meant to make you go back and look at the old stuff, or anything that's adapted to another media. This is what actually got me to go back and, I didn't change the channel when TOS came on TV one day. I sat down and watched an episode or two, and now I'm fluent in several references. Like, I know what you're talking about. I won't fully understand what the hell the technobabble thing is going on, but I can, recognize the word tachyon particles and shit.
Yeah, so what do people think of this as a remake?
As a remake, it's excellent. I mean, it takes its own direction with things, of course, as any remake will naturally want to do, but it takes it in that direction with the spirit of the original firmly in mind.
It reminds me of the movie I, Robot, the Will Smith movie adapted from an Isaac Asimov short story collection, where the movie has almost nothing to do with the source material. Because I feel like this movie has the same character names, but to me it just felt so adventure-y as opposed to Star Trek-y.
But isn't Star Trek supposed to be adventures?
I was just about to say,
space?
it's supposed to be about people going out and exploring and stuff. Well, technically, this wasn't exploring. I mean, it was a lot more adventure than you probably used to. But
I have not seen Beyond yet, but so far I don't think we even have had a single reference to exploring in the new Star Trek universe.
There's a lot of shit.
Right, remember,
a lot of time.
We'll get to
that guy, Eric Bana, coming into this universe pretty much screwed a lot of shit up. Like it supernovaed the whole universe.
But that was obviously still, Federation, because, James T. Kirk, Federation ship, all of that. He was already in space, which means it was way off the Cochrane's warp speed thing.
Mm-hmm.
And up to the points where Nero came through, it was supposed to be the same universe.
Yes.
There's nothing to indicate that it was. Yeah.
Of that same universe.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, TOS started when Kirk was captain. This was
then they had all these, it's 5-year mission to explore strange new galaxies.
Yeah, he was probably on year 10 of another, we probably came in 10 years into the first the second 5 years. Math. Hashtag is hard.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we have no reference to exploration at all. One event would not redo their entire foundation.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
It comes up, but it won't be in this one.
So, what did people think about that massive spoiler in the trailer?
The which one?
The one at the end?
Yeah, the Live Long and Prosper, the biggest.
Oh, that was common knowledge.
The spoiler that was bigger than when they put Gandalf on the poster for Two Towers.
Yeah, because it wasn't necessarily because it wasn't really a spoiler when it came out, because there was a big, huge thing of going, oh look, Nimoy has signed up to be in the film. Thank God it's not Shatner.
They were making such a huge deal out of it, though, because they had to get a hold of Shatner and Nimoy just to make sure that you had people who were quote unquote right for Spock and Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's really no surprise.
Yeah, it's just the way that they use Spock in this is just a giant writer's cop-out. In the second one, it's
actually,
fucking
it makes
worse.
sense. In my mind, it actually makes sense, because if you look at the other points in the franchise, when a baddie has gone back in time, what have they done? They have followed them back in time, trying to make everything right again. And this is so far into the future that the rest of the crew is already dead by old age. Spock is the only one left. And as you saw in his flashbacks of the future sort of convoluted thing, he was operating his own ship on his own, all by himself, and only had a short window to go back in time. And he obviously missed the window by a bit and got like 25 years into the future instead.
So
in the
he
future of the
froze
past.
himself.
Something like that.
Wow. Science.
He ended up in the wrong time, and it was too late to stop Nero.
Yeah. But yeah, I like this one. I didn't go see it in the cinemas, but it actually genuinely got me interested in going back and seeing, Star Trek and stuff, and the old. I didn't see all of TOS. I caught here and there, episodes, like the episode where he picks up the phallus.
Yeah.
The phallus rock. And it made me go and look up on the internet and read about, Star Trek history.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say stone dildos for a moment there.
What?
Family-oriented program, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you want us to get demonetized?
Well, I gotta say, this trailer and movie both made me feel a lot better about J J Abrams doing Star Wars, because this movie, again, to me, seemed like the adventure movie that Star Wars always was. And I'm like, oh, great. This is a good audition for what you want to do next.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I will take shiny surfaces, touch screens, and yes, I'll even put up with the lens flares over cardboard sets and blinking lights and maybe some weird transition-y special effect of things fading in and out. I think this was the breath of life that Star Trek really needed at the time to get new blood into the fan base. And as far as that goes, I think that was a success.
But what you said just made me realize that J J Abrams might have not just switched everything in the trailer we're about to see in a moment, but he might have switched the shows out. Because Star Trek was action-filled, dialogue-starved, basically no attempt at diplomacy at all, no exploration or anything of that sort. It was full of action from start to end, which the Star Wars movies used to be. And then Star Wars came out, and it was slow-paced, had a lot of dialogue. It was centered about exploration and the unknown. And, it just feels like he switched the two shows out. And Star Wars needed that, and Star Trek needed that. So...
This is true. I'm going to go ahead and correct myself from earlier. I was wrong. Mitch was right. This is Star Trek 11.
Yeah.
I think the confusion is that this is Star Trek 2009. So maybe you guys were right all along, because you were saying 9 like the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll agree to disagree.
Everyone.
Yeah, because even with me, because the one thing I don't like about this movie in kind of way, but especially in the next movie, especially Into Darkness, was the whole Spock thing. In the next movie, the next movie gets absolutely fucking terrible. For this one, it kind of fits into the story, so it's pretty much forgivable.
Well,
but
in this one, it made the most possible sense for the storyline.
Yeah, and that's always been the only thing I never really liked about those two movies, was the fact that they use sort of Spock as sort of the wise sage person, as basically as a writer's cop out. It's like, oh yes, we need to get some narrative stuff done, just use Spock. And
but they needed the magical Vulcan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Magical space elf.
The magical Vulcan.
Yeah, and that's because apart from that, the movie it looked great. The CG is quite good. It's very bright and very lens flary, but can't really say that the old stuff wasn't either. It was very special effects heavy.
No, the old stuff wasn't shiny at all.
What was special effects heavy?
Don't you think everything looks really, really clean, like doctor's hospital level pristine?
Yeah,
I was surprised Bones didn't try to just set up surgery right there on the bridge. It looks like an operating theater.
Yeah, it's the very modern. It's because these days, from the 2000s, from the 90s and 2000s onwards, there's always been this very clean, pristine look at the future. Even if it was stuff like Demolition Man, it's very nice, clean and shiny and white and minimalist.
Well, you know what that means. We just need to redo Blade Runner and be back in dark and gritty, and everything will be fine.
And surprisingly, on that, that is happening.
What?
They're
redoing Blade Runner.
We've got to tackle things that have been in, basically retcon in the new Star Trek 2009 stuff. What do you think of the whole 11-year-old Kirk driving this car towards a cliff thing?
Kirk's a rebel. Deal with it again.
Please jump.
They had to show he was a badass now, so why not have 11-year-old him?
Shatner didn't need that. Shatner didn't need that. He had the Shatner Kirk already had the don't give a shit about authority, rebel sort of thing, because he was just an asshole. They just make Kirk an asshole, and it would be fine. You don't have to have all that stuff. It's like, oh look, he's a rebel because he stole his dad. I don't give a shit. You just make him an asshole. This would make him even more of an asshole.
Yeah. The thing is,
he likes classical music.
He wasn't really a lot of an asshole in the movie. He was somewhat of an asshole, but not that much. But this trailer made him seem like the biggest ass in the universe.
Like, they beat the shit out of him in the movie. I've never ever seen Spock hit Kirk. He beat the shit out of Kirk in this movie.
Yeah, but the trailer alone, in the trailer, Kirk seemed like such an asshole. Even going down to, the whole, we have no commander of the ship. And he turns around and says, yes, we do. And then they cut there to a completely unrelated scene where he sits down in the captain's chair. In the film, he goes, yes, we do, and points to Spock. But in the trailer, it looks like he just turns around and says, yes, we do, and just commandeered the ship, basically. He basically...
That's what you get when you have marketing people.
Yeah.
I think that's what you get when you get marketing people who are making the trailers that are independent of the directors or writers or whatever.
Yeah, but it's sort of like if a cleaner happened to be on the bridge at the moment the captain is abducted or something, and just sits down in the chair and becomes the new captain.
That just seemed
just because he says so.
It just seemed like one of those Harvey Birdman moments. I'll take the case.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about Spock and his little childhood thing that came at the beginning?
That had a place in here at any point in time?
Because Vulcan gets destroyed in this movie, doesn't it, at the beginning?
Yeah. Ooh,
Yes,
spoiler. Well, it's 2009. You better watch.
Yeah, watch the movie.
Ages ago. Do you know what I mean?
On.
Yeah, it does. Winona Ryder was his mom.
Mm. Human mommy.
Yep. And he got in the film. Apparently, he got bullied for being human. Yeah. And little Spock was taking no shit and beat the shit out of people who.
Now, this is Vulcan. This is Vulcan we're talking about here. This isn't bullying. They just made pointed logical arguments against his heritage.
Yeah.
And he logically whooped their ass.
No, he didn't. That wasn't logic at all.
Yeah, well, the thing is, because for the Vulcans, it would have been because they're saying you are imperfect because you are part human, so you are not properly Vulcan. Because the whole big story I think, at the end of this one or the middle of this one, is saying that he can't be. I think it's the beginning of this one is that he can't get into the sort of like the Vulcan elite because he's half human. He's imperfect in their eyes.
Well, It wasn't that he couldn't. He was expected to, and he just told him straight up no. Why should I do anything for you? I'm going to do my own thing.
What about Carl Urban as Bones? I really, really liked Carl Urban as Bones. Like, they took the whole I don't give a shit Bones and made him like extra, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
He's the most cynical person in this movie, and they don't even make him Kirk's friend. They literally straight up go, I know you. That's why I don't give a shit. I know whatever I say, you will not listen to me. So
yeah, they basically went for the Kirk Bones relationship that was in the last few original set movies, where they had gone past the point of being friends, where it's just two people who would just deride each other. And it's like, no, you just don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do it, and you're doing it. I told you not to do it, but you did it anyway.
Do you want the space herpes again?
This Bones was just like, yeah, I'll just bypass and tell you I told you so now before it all goes down. Next one is the Uhura Spock relationship. I know it freaked a lot of people out. People were like, wait.
Was there some relationship in the original one, or was it Uhura and Kirk?
There was very minimal implication of that in the original series from what I've been able to tell. But again, I'm not an expert, and I know nothing about the original series, so I'm just going on observation.
Well, there was that one, the first primetime interracial kiss was between Kirk and Uhura.
Yeah. And then there was Uhura and Scotty, I think, later on.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
But
she got around, man.
I think this.
That was the first time a Scotsman had been kissed.
Yeah, I think the Uhura Spock thing was sort of a preview of what's coming in the next film, where J J Abrams just look at the script from the old series and the old movies and just decides to
fuck it.
Flip everything. Not fuck it. He does everything exactly as it is in the script, except he just changes places of Spock and Kirk, and just does everything exactly opposite of what Wrath of Khan was.
Although Uhura and Spock were able to maintain a very healthy relationship until it went down stereotype lane.
Until Spock decided to bathe in a volcano.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Sulu.
Yeah.
Sulu.
You know what, Kumar? Go to White Castle.
Sulu was awesome. There's the scene, the skydiving scene, that made me cringe, and I was like, I literally remember thinking, this is supposed to be based on the original series, right? It wasn't a big thing in Star Trek that the guy in the red shirt would. Oh, there he goes.
I was going the same in that scene.
That hurt.
Sulu, Kirk, guy we never seen before.
Owen, your name is? Owen, your name is? Good luck, Owen. It literally went, wait, you're doing something really dangerous. Isn't this a place where, the guy in the red... Oh, there he goes. Rest in peace.
We've been going through each cast person individually, but I think all the casting, whoever did that just did a tremendous job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single one captured the original series counterpart, just remarkably on screen.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they changed Sulu from fencing to, actually knowing how to handle a katana. I'm not gonna lie.
It went from French fencing to Japanese fencing.
Yeah. It was like kendo, I think it was. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
But the only character I
not
thought was a
necessarily
bit
trained, but I had a couple lessons.
Well, and I'd also like to note that, J J Abrams here is showing off his space sword combat techniques, which, might another franchise also want to use.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Don't anger him again. We've already had to deal with him from the last episode.
Yeah. This was definitely the film that was kind of the sort of prototype. Well, not really prototype. It's his application for Star Wars. And just where it's like, oh, I can do epic sci-fi. I'm doing the other one as well. And he kind of controlled nerddom from that point.
Yeah.
About controlling.
The only character I thought was a bit underutilized was Chekhov, but he gets bigger roles in the next film.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Although on that, it was the one bit of news that came out after he died that was very interesting to hear was that they're essentially retiring. Well, they're going to retire his character because they're not going to recast him. So essentially, Chekhov is literally dead now.
Yeah.
So that's a very nice move that they did for that one.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, basically, even in the movies, Chekhov and Sulu end up going their own ways anyway, so it makes sense.
Shall we go over to the next one?
No, there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and it was when this movie came out, there was a lot of complaints saying that they fell into their roles quite quickly. Like everybody started off really, really not what they were supposed to be, and one captain gets killed. Spock becomes captain. He loses his temper. They needed a captain, so Kirk takes over. Now he's captain. The person who's supposed to be the doctor got food poisoning, so they gave him the job.
Yeah, this sort of goes with sort of the complaints that I've had with it, like with the whole Spock thing, is that the scripts quite a lot of the times for these ones, at least for the first and the second one, were a bit shit. And so it was the whole thing of they just rushed through it. It was like, oh, we need to make him captain. We need to have conflict. They just do that and then just do that. It's a sort of thing where it's just they had the end goal in mind and then just went straight for it. And
yeah, I get the whole thing about Bones becoming the doctor of the ship because the guy had food poisoning, he was ill, right? That is believable. I can believe that, Spock lost his temper and that made him feel like he was unfit to work because that's Spock, right? That I get. I get Christopher Pike or whoever was the captain getting killed and they needed a captain so they picked Kirk. That I get. What I find so annoyingly unbelievable is the fact that they pick up Scotty on an ice planet, brought him onto the ship, and said, "You're chief of engineering now."
Well, more than just brought him onto the ship, right? They use some crazy transporter technology.
Transporters, yeah.
Yeah, which seems like, way advanced. Into where did he go? A water tube?
Yeah, into the
Floating around some?
Yeah, ends up going into the water filtration or something like that, and it's like, oh no, you must use your phasers to undo the hinges, otherwise he'll end up in the dicer. Ooh,
It makes sense
action.
there, though.
It makes about as much sense as
Makes
Galaxy
sense
Quest.
there, though, because number one, they already had the magical Vulcan, who happened to know that his Scotty actually had already done that equation. So that makes sense. Number two, Scotty's the mad scientist, and we all know it.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
Why give him an Igor-like alien as a... Why?
Comic relief.
Why give him... He's not even comic relief, because he's talking to that thing like... It's...
Because Scotty needs his own sidekick.
This is true.
Why?
Well, I say too, if you are auditioning to direct some other science fiction space franchise, you need to be able to show that you can work with small, cute aliens.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Well, there seems to be a lot of Star Wars elements in Star Trek.
Yeah.
The war is about to be a
big-eyed
three-pronged
aliens
war.
that happen to have really high intelligence and sage-like friendship, telling people what to do, but can't get his closest friend to do it.
That does sound familiar.
The only thing
that happened twice before.
The only thing this needs now is a miserable 30-year-old who's always mopey and wears black and is a dick.
Or, you know, what it also could use is a scene where an entire planet gets destroyed.
Oh, wait.
You know what?
Oh,
You know
wait.
what?
I think we have that.
I'm going to take an opportunity here. Fellow Star Wars fans, I apologize for us stoking the flame again from last week. And I know what the answer to this is going to be, but seriously, what are we doing? We're crossing the streams here.
Anyway, shall
was
we
one way
move on
cutting
to the next one? We have two more to
Would
go
we
through,
watch
and
this?
we've already spent an hour.
Oh, yeah.
Would we watch
Yeah.
this?
This one, yeah. So with that, we're gonna draw close to that one because we've talked about most of the main things. We've talked about the characters now, so the next few ones should be pretty short because we talked about the key things. So we can just go straight to the plot and the things and move on to Star Trek Into Darkness, the one I saw in the cinema and the one I really, really hate.
Oh, it's on now, buddy.
Yeah, this one I really, really don't like. It's gonna be.
It's on. It's on.
Yeah. So let's go off and. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's go off and watch that one and see, have at it. And we're back after that one, and I'm going to start. The biggest thing I don't like about this movie is the third act, just all of it. The entire third act is... The casting is great, the movie progresses great, the entire third act is shit. It just goes, right, how do we know Khan is evil? Because it's Khan, it doesn't fucking know, obviously it's Khan, who the fuck else is it going to be? And it's like, oh, how do we know Khan is evil? We already made him a rebel, but Kirk's a kind of a rebel. How do you make him a bad guy? Well, just go talk to Spock, and he's just a bad guy. Because it even gets to a point where Khan kills the evil Federation guy. So it's like, right, fine, he's doing some of our job then. He's getting rid of he's getting rid of the corrupt guy. Oh, but he's the bad guy.
Well,
but he helped
He's
us.
the bad guy because he did it in front of the rebel general guy's daughter. That's how it worked out that he's evil.
everybody who's anybody, just go watch Space Seed right now and get that out of your system first, because then this entire argument will make all the sense.
My issue with it is the magical blood.
Yeah, that was...
Yes,
like,
the magical
that
blood.
proved the film
That
has
I
no
will-
balls!
That would be brilliant.
The film
End
had
of
no
space
balls.
here. Don't go on with another movie. Just start on Next Generation. Go on, just do it. All right? No.
Well, and even how they
Back to
sort
life.
of work out the magical blood and what it does. I don't know how science works in the future, but Bones has got some corpses around. He's like, I'll just try injecting this guy's blood into these corpses, see what happens.
Well, no,
I mean, by corpses, I just mean dead tribble.
And then we
They
also
even
have
established
the
it
fact
beforehand.
that like 2 million people died when Khan crashed the ship into Earth. Maybe some of those have corpses intact enough for reanimation, but nope. Kirk.
Mr. Kirk. Well, and then the whole thing where they're going to try to chase down Khan to get his magic blood. Well, they've got, I believe, a locker full of magic-blooded Khan people.
Yeah.
That are still
like
frozen.
280 people or something like that.
Yeah.
Use that.
Yay.
To chase Khan. So indirectly,
Fuck it, just shoot
Spock
Khan
is
from
responsible
space.
for 2 million people's deaths because he was overzealous and hunted Khan down.
Yeah, and then even then it ends, or the whole big fight with Kirk, with Spock and Khan ends in like a giant kung fu match on like trucks flying through the sky. Good fucking Christ. In any other film that would be awesome, but this one they're just going, oh for fuck's sake. Come on, can we just have a space battle rather than just like kung fu?
Wasn't there another franchise with chasing on flying cars?
Good point.
Yeah.
And
What do
wasn't
you-
that
I'm just
the
gonna go ahead.
second film in a series as well?
What do you even need space trucks for when you've got transporters?
Yeah.
I would be so mad if someone asked me to
Sometimes
carry
things don't
something
do-
in the future.
Not everything
beam it.
does in the future. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and throw. I'm going to go through it. I have to throw it out there right now.
All right.
The movie was fine for what it was.
Another
And even the most diehard Star Trek fans knew eventually that if they were going to bring in some random guy and have a bunch of missiles, this was going to be Wrath of Khan.
Oh yeah, it was. Everyone knew it was going to be Khan, and as well.
This movie did for Wrath of Khan what the first one did for pretty much the entirety of TOS. It brought a little life into it. They brought in a popular character. They threw in somewhat a twist, but it was done okay for the most part.
Yeah. This is the reason why I say the main thing I don't like about this movie is the third act, because Cumberbatch's Khan is just Cumberbatch's Khan is like, there is just that level of pompous Britishness that comes through. It's fucking delicious.
Yes, that's exactly what makes him good for that.
Yeah.
Yes, in an American movie, if you have a British accent, we already know you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Speaking of British accents, how did Khan Nguyen Singh, the Pakistani Sikh warlord that once tried to take over the entire world and almost succeeded, become a white British guy?
We never lost the colony. That was going to come up eventually. That's the only thing I can say for it. Is like, yay! He changed to British because the 50s didn't happen. Yeah.
He's from the dark part of the colonies.
Yeah. It is the most awkward change though, because we have someone who's Pakistani, and then that entire region has quite dodgy connections with the British over the early part of the 1900s, and they replace him with a British guy. Bit awkward.
Oh boy.
But I guess I sort of agree.
The next level tick people off already, aren't we?
I guess I'd agree with your assessment. Like, I thought this movie was a lot of fun, start to end. It was action-packed. It was all of that. But, as much as I enjoyed actually watching the movie, I recognize that it's not really a great movie. The writing is terrible, especially in the third act. It just falls.
My favorite thing about this movie is the gratuitous nudity that did not need to happen.
Yeah, it's like it's the famous shot. That was because it was me and one of my friends went off to see this in the cinema, and had the whole the famous scene of the woman in the undercrackers, and as soon as that happened, it was just there for like. The thing is, it happened. She turned, paused, did a pose, said her line, posed a bit more, and then it just went straight to a different scene. It just went. Did that just fucking happen? What the fuck? It's like, what was the point in that?
Well, it's exactly the same amount of point that they had in including Alice Eve in that trailer for all of, 2 seconds?
Yep.
Yeah.
They were supposed to give... she was supposed to be important to the plot, though. Nope, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Racist scene in the movie. Done.
The only thing she did to the plot was scream and be in the Undercrackers. And that was it.
So wait.
Really? That's enough.
So he's complaining about somebody being in their Undercrackers.
What is? It was just pointless. Is
pointless, yes.
Yeah.
I think that goes to that other bit. Like, I feel like original Trek movies, Next Generation movies, the TV series, they were all sort of aimed at nerds, like me. But these movies are aimed at normals, like everybody.
New nerds. The college football guys that, because they play COD every day, they think they now know video games.
Yeah. The people that annoy the shit out of me day to day, because they are dumb fucks.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking about.
Speaking of dumb fucks, how stupid is it that the guy in the beginning, the sort of suicide bomber that did this whole thing for the sort of Middle Eastern warlord guy, awkward. If they had this time delay on the explosive ring thing, couldn't he have made it something other than a ring? Maybe, a cigarette case or something like that, something with a bit of thicker meltable metal, so the guy could at least leave the building before the whole thing blew up.
Well, I don't think
if he'd have left, Khan would have been just standing out there like, "Oh, are you done? Good." Dead.
Yeah, but
Khan was standing out there.
Yeah,
that's how they find him later.
Yeah, that's how they find him.
But the thing is, he didn't need to die, and Khan didn't really want him to die, but he said this is the only way. If there was any other way, we would have done it.
Khan's a lying bad guy.
Yeah.
How stupid was it that he left his dying kid to do that? Like, somehow that would have made her illness go away.
Yeah, it was because it was supposed to make the illness go away.
Well, yeah, magic blood made the illness go away.
Brain with
magic blood isn't cheap.
Yeah. He did it for
just grow inside someone.
The dying kid would be healed.
I'm sorry, but did Khan ever once go visit that kid in hospital and say, "Here's my blood"?
Yeah,
I think he passed it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, he dropped it in the IV.
But the sad thing is, the ship crashes on that kid at the end of the movie. So all for naught.
Is it? Yeah, I saved your life, only to die in about a week. It's like, oh yeah, I'm getting better. That's a big ship, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into the whole thing about Into Darkness. I'm just trying to avoid that subject right now.
The fact that you hate that they reversed the roles and made it redundant.
Yes.
Or the fact that, they pulled once again a Search for Spock, but instead of waiting a whole year for another movie, they did it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Star Trek 12, we lied with shiny lights.
Yeah.
Did you,
Star Trek 12, we have no balls.
Star Trek Into Darkness, where we're gonna... The whole thing with the engine room scene, where they reversed the dialogue, it was like Abrams taking out his dong.
Yeah, that was...
Throughout the entire movie, he's had his dong out and slapped us in the face with it. With that engine room scene, he just aimed it and started pissing on us.
Yeah,
okay, so
wow, you had a very different experience.
Tell me how you really feel.
So the implication for 11 was that, hey, I could potentially do cool sci-fi, and then the implication you're just throwing out at us now is that, no, really, I hate Star Trek. Throw me in Star Wars.
It's not that he hates Star Trek. It's that he sort of... The way I saw Into Darkness was Abrams had no original idea at all. He just decided to do Wrath of Khan, but he's gonna do everything opposite. Like, he took it line for line, the script, and then he just started reading the lines right to left instead of left to right.
So what you're saying is that Star Trek Into Darkness really should have just been done by M. Night Shyamalan and gotten over with?
What a twist!
That would have been
There's that one scene where Scotty is on the evil starship. I don't remember its name. And he's like, yeah, the Vengeance. And he's like running down the hallways. I'm like, that looks like the Millennium Falcon set. Like, it's got the black floors and everything. I'm just like, man.
Oh, that's the Star Destroyer set.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
you made me do it now. Come on.
And all he's got to do is shut down all the trash compactors. Or open an airlock through the trashy...
You know what? No, you know what? I'm done apologizing. Star Wars fans eat it.
It was going to happen eventually.
I'll throw it out there. This trailer is so miserably disjointed. It's a horrible representation of the movie as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
The movie as a whole is fine, and then you get to that certain point where everybody just kind of goes, okay, yeah, we saw this coming.
Yeah.
And that's like 5 minutes of Alice Eve.
Yeah.
Anybody else get a feeling of the movie just going and going and going and wouldn't stop?
Oh.
Like, every time I thought it was going to end, I was like, ooh, movie finished. Nope.
It was Return of the King, us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was trying to be Hamlet instead of trying to be, like, Moby Dick. Refused to fucking end.
They did do one good consistent thing. They showed that the shipyards, even secret military ones, have no real security.
Yeah.
Anybody else feel like they put Search for Spock, Wrath of Khan, and the Undiscovered Country in one go? Like, they made...
Well, he super lied.
They made Kirk have this forced dilemma to go after and hunt down the guy who killed everybody.
Except it was Spock this time.
No, it was Kirk. Like, when the guy attacked the council.
Mm-hmm.
I
think Christopher Pike died that time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I have to find him, and yeah.
And then he finds him and becomes best buddy with him, and it becomes sort of space buddy cop comedy for a while, and then he dies, which is also a Hamlet thing. You know, main character dies 4/5 into the movie, and the movie just continues.
Yeah.
Without him.
And then he's brought back by magic blood.
That's not coming from the magic Vulcan, but from the magic Pakistani.
Right.
The
British.
Pakistani.
The magical Brit.
Yeah, the magical Brit that replaced the magical Pakistani. That's so terrible saying that. Oh god.
I'm almost sorry.
Oh god, even I feel bad saying that. There's one thing that I want to ask what people think about it, and that's the whole Spock talking to Spock.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was a cop-out. Well,
right? Really?
That was...
Just trying to forget it.
Just trying to find a way to put him in the movie.
No business bringing him back for that. I mean, it makes sense
in a way, but why couldn't Spock just tell Spock everything instead of being so vague? Or better yet, follow him. Go on board the Enterprise and, help him out.
Well,
he
also
could do it in the first movie because that would mess with the timeline, but the timeline sort of already got messed up.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that holds Spock.
And he still fucks with the timeline anyway by telling Spock that Khan is evil. Early.
Yeah, but the timeline is already completely changed. Entirely changed. So,
well,
it's nothing for old Spock to sort of conserve. unless he wanna, try to go back in time and do it all again, which he obviously didn't. So why couldn't he be an advisor on board the ship or something?
Reasons.
I think
Yeah.
I think one positive thing about that, though, is that they're not going to do it in future movies. Too soon?
There are two of them that still haven't done any crossover to any of the modern ones. Because we had...
Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah, we had Shatner, and we had... we had Scotty, we had Kirk, Spock, and Bones, ending up in The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have Uhura and Sulu, who haven't ended up in one of the modern franchises yet.
Zulu's already said no.
Yeah.
He said no. I think the last... Well, there's one bit of thing with Zulu, but that's going to get saved for Beyond, because it's a little factoid, a little change thing that happened in Beyond that they did to try and go, oh, look, yes.
And he said, oh, no.
Oh, no.
I know that one.
Yeah. I think with that, it's about time to move on to the next one anyway, because we're starting to talk about the next one anyway. Has anyone actually seen Beyond?
Boom!
Yes.
No.
I have not.
Oh, right, so at least one of us has. I wait to the DVD, so... And we're back after watching that one. And this one, it seems like there's a little bit of a thing with this one. Because the one that we saw was the now ever-famous Beastie Boys Star Trek trailer, playing Sabotage. Apparently there's some sort of symbolism in it. I think only one of us have actually seen the movie. Is there symbolism in having the Beastie Boys in it?
Sort of, but...
Or is it just sort of like just a
not
gag?
Really. It isn't a gag. I'll throw that out there. It's not necessarily a gag, but it is kind of a callback.
All right, yeah, because I was just scrolling through the YouTube comments, and the one thing that keeps going there is, "Oh, I get it now." It's like, okay, it seemed like a bit of a random choice when they first did that one. Although,
well, I haven't seen the movie, but I was just guessing from the song. Is there sabotage involved?
Gee,
It's gonna be one of the many alien races they have invented for this. Is gonna be part beast, and they're all gonna be male.
I see where you did that.
AKA.
And they all worship a brass monkey.
You're calling Klingons animal.
Yes.
And now we've jumped the shark.
Took us long enough, I suppose.
Because that's the one thing I sort of noticed in this trailer. In the Star Trek universe, you have so many established races you can pick from. And for some reason, they chose none of them and just made up new ones.
No, they didn't. Those are the Klingons.
The what?
So Klingons are white with the black stripes.
No, I don't know what the hell she was, but
blue ones.
No, I don't know what the hell she was.
I'm not talking about
the Klingons. The Klingons were the lizard-like with the ridges thing.
So why are they different from the Klingons in?
Because J J Abrams
in the second movie.
I don't know.
Timey wimey wibbly wobbly.
They don't like to talk about it.
So the Klingons in the second movie.
Oh, Klingons in the second movie.
Yeah.
You know, Kronos, homeworld of the Klingons.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just random monsters.
They,
I thought it was just...
You calling the Klingons monsters?
Yeah.
so
Technically both correct.
In the first movie, they have Romulans that look nothing like Vulcans, even though Romulans and Vulcans are supposed to be the same race.
They look more like demons.
Yeah. And in the second movie, you do have Klingons, but they sort of look like they're in that transition period between flat foreheads and ridged foreheads. And then comes the third movie.
They're blue.
Where the Klingons now are blue.
With ridges on their heads.
Yeah.
But why blue?
I think the Klingons might have got into autoerotic asphyxiation. I managed to say that without stuttering.
Seems like them.
Yeah, it just seems like their thing to do.
Star Trek fans, we apologize for. We don't even apologize for that.
That was awesome.
We're just trying to hit all those points to be not advertiser friendly, you know.
Yeah.
At least they're not being, Phantom Menace. They know exactly what they're coming in and getting.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
You know, what let me know that this movie wasn't essential for me to see in the theater was when a motorcycle was involved in some sort of aerial combat.
What kind of porn are you watching?
Did they?
Did
they do the whole Mission Impossible 2 thing of like joust with bikes?
As much as you're going to hate me, that actually makes more sense when you see it.
Oh no!
Oh.
It made sense when I saw Justin Lin's name attached to it.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
jousting with bikes. Mission
I'll
Impossible
throw
2.
this out there right now. Go see it. But when you do, you're going to probably end up agreeing with me that Justin Lin should continue to do Star Trek movies.
Is it me
Throw
or
that
was
out.
all
Alright.
very
That's bold.
sweet? Like there was
That
a
is
lot
bold,
of.
but as far as I'm concerned, after that one, he can do as many Star Trek movies as he wants.
Right, J J Abrams can go off and do Star Wars, and then Justin Lin can stick around and do Star Trek then.
I feel like James Gunn should have done this one.
No, James Gunn is too busy doing Guardians of the Galaxy. All the good directors are doing sci-fi now. Because we've got James Gunn is doing Guardians of the Galaxy, J J Abrams is doing Star Wars, Justin Lin is doing Star Trek.
Sci-fi from the 80s seems to be the new vampires.
Yeah.
That's the thing right now.
Yeah, there's one thing that happens in the trailer, which is something that we've pretty much commented on a lot during these special episodes, is where it ends with the whole, this is the final log of the Starship Enterprise, to see the Starship Enterprise getting blown up. So how many times? So it's like, I swear the fucking thing has been blown up like every movie so far.
Every other movie.
So it's like, this is the final mission of the Enterprise. Fucking really? Too late. We already know you're doing one in like 2018.
Yeah, Star Trek 14, we're gonna lie again.
Star Trek 14, we lied.
Can they just move on to the Next Generation cast now?
But what are they gonna call that movie?
No, I don't.
Generations is
I
already
don't want a new
taken.
Picard.
So, in 2 generations?
No.
Second generations?
They're going to show in the next
The
movie
second?
No.
a young bald baby who will one day.
Oh god, that is the one thing I'm dreading, because at some point, with the way that they're going, they're going to end up getting up to the new generation, or to the next generation, to the new generation of the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Really fucked that up.
That's what it's going to be called, by the way. Star Trek,
it's-
the new generation.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
the
it be
new
cool
generation.
if Tom Hardy played Picard?
Oh god.
That would just screw up a lot of
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
I will take it.
Yeah.
I take it.
I think between this movie or maybe between the next movie, there's going to be the TV series. Discovery's going to have happened.
Yeah,
So
Star
maybe
Trek
there'll be
Discovery.
a Discovery movie.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery literally starts next year. I think it starts in August, I think.
Please
But
tell
we
us
still
what
don't
the
even know where in the timeline
They showed
that
us,
will be.
wanted us to believe was a ship.
By the way, Kel
Just
Mitchell
make sad
should play
things.
Jodie LaForge.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kel Mitchell.
Yeah.
Or Keegan-Michael Key.
That it would be. If Jill plays LaForge, wouldn't it be cool if Kenan Thompson played Worf?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Oh yes.
That'd be interesting.
So cool. And like Josh Peck be Data. just have all of the old Nickelodeon cast up in there.
The 90s are coming back.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking, what's it called? Parsons? The guy playing Sheldon.
Oh yeah.
Data.
Jim Parsons.
Jim Parsons.
He'd be a good Data.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, he would make a good Data.
How about this one? Justin Bieber as Wesley.
Yeah, we can pre-hate him now.
Yes.
Yeah, but then you'd give Justin Bieber's. Wait, no, CSI already did that.
So,
yeah, shoot him again.
who would play Mrs. Pointless, aka Diana Troy?
A war.
Oh. Ooh, tough.
A wall.
You
A
just have a
brick.
box of Cheerios sitting there.
A brick.
Or would Diana
He's a
Troy
brick
be
as
the one
usual,
that they
chucking
removed,
himself out the window.
Yeoman from the new one?
Nope. I would think that they would make like Selena Gomez be Diana Troy,
Yeah.
but make her like a super badass telepath that can move shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll make it like fucking full-on psychic.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, she's touching stuff and getting visions. I'd get behind that.
going full CSI. Full Bourne. Full Jason, the full Jason Bourne sort of.
And she, and because she's got this passive, like, ability, they make it so she's got, you know, extra kung fu powers too. Yep.
Yeah, I am
What about
kung fu
Mrs.
because I
Crusher?
is magic.
Yeah, I was thinking about Crusher as well, but also O'Brien.
Yeah, but we leave O'Brien until they make a Deep Space Nine movie.
Yeah, but
O'Brien
O'Brien
would have to be on the Enterprise first.
Enterprise.
Yeah, but
Before they realized that LaForge could do both engineering and engineering. Both, cheap engineering and engineering.
yeah, but if you cast O'Brien, you've got to cast Kiko.
Yeah, of course.
Well, with the trend in Hollywood today, I think Kiko could be played by Scarlett Johansson.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Right.
That is another movie I'm looking forward to because I'm a big fan of the original stuff, and it'll be fucking amazing to see how Hollywood can fuck this up. That's the movies I'm going to see. It.
I think this has gotten entirely too silly.
This is
Yes, you're right. This is when it
Right
turned.
then, that's it. Move along.
Just draw a line there. How do you think that
So will you people go see Star Trek Beyond? That's the real question here.
I'm gonna have to wait until it comes on telly because I missed it in the cinema.
As much criticism as I have about this trailer, it actually makes me want to see it.
Yeah.
The Into Darkness one made me feel blah, and that's not because I've already seen the film, but because the trailer just doesn't engage me. But this trailer makes me want to see the film.
Favorite line? Bones. Again. Carl Urban going, oh, that's just great. I literally wanted him to say, you motherfucker.
That's just typical.
You green blood bastard.
You bitch. Oh, no, you not. Come back down here.
It's very much a very fascinating movie because it's the whole sort of thing where it's I think the first two movies was the big setup for this new universe. It's like, oh yes, this is how the timeline is different. This is how everything is. This is what has changed, and this is the movie. This is the first movie to go. Yep, this is now Star Trek, rather than trying to establish the universe. Is that how it? Is that how it usually is? Is it something that's much more secure in its identity?
I would say you're fairly close to what you should expect in there.
Interesting. Yeah. So,
Cryptic metaphors.
Cryptic metaphors. Yeah. Bring this to a very dramatic end and go. If you like the episode, then subscribe and like the video and share the video, because that is always good. And you can check out more of our filmy stuff and other critical stuff on our website, thetorturedentertainmentguide.com. So, it is goodbye from me, goodbye. It is a goodbye from the usual compatriots of Kenny and Chris.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And it is goodbye from our guests, Art and Mitch.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
And we will see you maybe soon with more Trailer Park, with more trailers.